Greece has been very much on the front line of the refugee and migrant crisis, with hundreds of thousands of people taking to small dinghies and crossing this sea here to try to make it north through Europe. Now, the EU says that its new deal with Turkey is about preventing people taking that dangerous journey. It's about reducing risk, they say, and providing safe alternatives. Now, anyone who arrives here in Greece faces being detained and possibly deported.
The preparation was last minute, but in the end, the first returns ran smoothly. The non-Syrians bussed to deportation centres to be returned to their countries of origin, Syrians taken to refugee camps to be exchanged with those directly resettled in the EU. But this was just a symbolic start to meet the deadline. The next arrivals have been delayed.
It's still very early days and people still are getting through, but certainly the numbers look like they're dropping. Here on day 2, for example, of the new deal on Lesbos, no new arrivals made it to shore. Now, there are, though, still 3,000 or so people in the detention camp here on Lesbos, and we understand that almost all of them now have applied for asylum. That process is going to take at least 2 weeks. European asylum officers who are meant to process those claims have only just arrived here. And then the deportations, we think, will begin again. And it could be far more challenging as people who don't want to go back to Turkey begin to be sent back there.
Turkey is the key to solving the migrant crisis, and it's been given incentives for this deal. Another €3 billion, the possible lifting of visas for Turks to travel to most of the EU by the end of June, and the speeding up of its EU accession process. But there is unease about giving Turkey too much when there are real concerns about the state of democracy here.